So here we are again, back in the fish room. It's been 2 weeks since we had the flood disaster. Everyone's been so amazing, especially all of you guys. So let's figure out what we're gonna do next, and I can start telling you what's gonna happen to the fish room from now on. And I've already started some of those projects. Stick around, I'll bring you up to date with everything, and I'll even give you a bit of a sneak peek at some of the things I've already done. So first of all, most importantly, thank you so much to all of you guys out there for all your kind messages, for watching the video on the floods. It did really, really well, and I've got a whole bunch of people reaching out to me from all over the world to, just let me know that they're thinking of me when I lost all the fish, relaying stories of when they've lost fish. People from all over the country offering to send me fish to try and get things started again. And friends and family and a few people have even put some money together to help me get back up on my feet really quickly. And I can't thank you all enough. So in case you missed it, 2 weeks ago, I put up a video about a flood that was happening in my area. I lost power for 4 days, and it turned this fish room into a disaster zone. I lost over 100 fish. I didn't lose all the fish, so I've been trying to work out where to go from there. It's taken me 2 weeks to really just let it sink in and figure out how I'm gonna move forward. And a couple days ago, I started doing that, so I'll show you what I've done. Now on this channel, I keep salt water in that one tank and fresh water. So I'll share with you the saltwater story first. So over there, we have a 90-litre reef tank. I lost all my fish. I lost probably 90% of my corals. I think there's really only 2 that are remaining, and there's a couple that is trying to come back out. So fingers crossed, I get to replenish those pretty quickly. What I've decided to do, I cleaned up the tank. I've gotten rid of as much of any of the waste that I could find that was left over from the disaster, really given it a thorough clean. But I want to get things moving really quickly with it so that I don't lose that beneficial bacteria and I don't crash the tank entirely. So in saying that, I have decided that I will get a couple of clownfish. So we've got some black ocellaris, so not your standard orange ocellaris or clownfish. So they're in there, and I've got some new corals, which is really, really awesome. They're doing well. It's only been a few days, so we can't really count our chickens till they hatch. So I kind of took the opportunity to move all the rocks right to the back to kind of create a real cliff face. I was happy with it before, but I thought if I can try and get a little bit more room out there and less room for fish to hide behind, to bring them out and about so that we can enjoy them a lot more when we're looking at the tank. I'm going to leave that tank for a little bit and just make sure everything settles in. We've tried some new corals as well, which I will bring you an update and show you how they're going. Let me know. I'm sort of thinking that it might be a really good idea to just have a few clownfish. I really miss my lawnmower blenny. I would love to get one back. And cleaner shrimp are really expensive down here, but I've always wanted one. So over in the tank over here, I lost all the fish in that tank. I didn't lose any of the shrimp, which was really lucky. I actually filmed a video just before all this happened. So I want to give a big shout out to TheShrimpCorner. TheShrimpCorner sent me a bunch of red cherry shrimp and a bit of food and a few other bits and pieces. It was a really, really generous package, completely free. We've been sort of YouTube friends for a while, so I really appreciate what she's done. They are in there and they are still doing well, so that's a real positive. And definitely make sure you check out the Shrimp Corner for me. Do me a favor, go and subscribe, and also check out the Shrimp Corner on Facebook. Now this tank was having a bit of an algae problem, so we introduced the shrimp. I added a couple ram's horn snails that I already had over here, and I got some Otocinclus and some neon tetras. They did a really good job before everything sort of went belly up. I don't know if it's too soon for a joke like that. The plants are just thriving. There is no CO2 in that tank, but it might not stay that way forever. So I think that tank's bounced back really well. It's now, what are we gonna stock it with fish-wise? Because the shrimp are already there, the snails are already there. I think I'm going to get some more autos to put back in there because I was really happy with what they were doing. I don't know, I might be using some of the local people here that have been reaching out to fill that tank with some new fish. So just quickly, over here was my Crebensis tank. I'll show you it empty. I shut that down just before all this happened, and I moved them into a community tank over here with some large goldfish, large plecos, lots of catfish, temperature sitting at like 22, 23 degrees, sort of a happy medium for a few of the fish. All the parameters would be perfect for Crebensis. It's just a bit of a weird combo. But we lost them in there. We lost some of the catfish. We lost that giant sailfin pleco, which still really embedded in my mind, that footage of finding him floating at the top. So pretty upset about that. But what I've done is, in that tank, I've added a whole bunch of plants from some of the tanks that I've had to shut down. So I've got a really healthy red root floater situation going on there. The pothos is growing wild. The tank looks really cool. It is a bit of a mishmash tank, and there's some plans for that one coming up soon. So stick around. That tank is going to transform, I think, and some of the fish are probably going to have to move into different tanks and even possibly different locations. The Endler tank over there, I lost the whole breeding colony. There's about 3 or 4 Endlers left, so maybe they can regenerate. But what I've done is I've used plants from some of the tanks that I've shut down, and I've just taken out the big bits of driftwood, given it better plant life, taken away a lot of the floating plants, except the duckweed, which will take a little while. And I'm going to try and see if those plants will grow in there while I'm saving space by shutting down these tanks. Now, these tanks are all little small tanks. They are all 10-gallon tanks. So one of them, the one on the left here, was actually a breeding tank for Japanese blue endlers. We had one batch of fry that got eaten by the parents, and then we had another batch of fry that were doing really well. It was a bit of a mess of a tank, but it was working. It was serving its purpose, so I just kind of kept it running and just letting it do its thing. Now that I've lost the blue endlers, I decided that it's time to shut that one down, rehome the plants in the endler tank and let them still grow out, and try and get a bit more space back in the fish room. The tank on the right is kind of heartbreaking to shut down. That was a video I did probably over a year ago. It was meant to be a white cloud river, and I had a really cool rock background on there, a few Anubias plants. It looked like a little river. Had the white clouds in there, and I had some issue very quickly and lost all of them like within too quickly when you should buy them from a shop. Tested everything, and all the parameters were to be expected, as I should have thought they were. Maybe the tank wasn't cycled enough because the nitrates and ammonia were pretty low. In the end, we moved some Harlequin rasboras in there who did really well, and I also put some black cherry shrimp in there. The black cherry shrimp bred like crazy, so I didn't lose them in the power outage, and I've rehomed them into the large tank in the living room. So now I probably have about 100 black cherry shrimp in the 4-foot tank that we're trying to scape and grow those plants out. There is 7 neon rainbows in there. That might pick on them a little bit, but they are all juvenile. So at the moment, I think that they can all get well established, and we've got plenty of room to hide and do their thing. So there's a little update for you. I didn't want to rush back into things. It is, to be honest, it's been pretty overwhelming losing that many fish and trying to figure out what to do with those tanks. I didn't want to leave them alone too long and let them crash or anything like that as well, so I think some cuts had to be made. I'm going to take the opportunity to free up some space and sort of focus on some of the more delicate tanks that I've been setting up and try and get them to a higher standard, because I think that's what I've been aiming for all along, and now I might have that opportunity to spend more time on them. That's not saying that I'm not going to add more tanks eventually, but I think it's been a bit of a message to say, let's just pause, get things right, get things balanced, and start moving forward again. Once again, I have to say thank you so much to all of you. It's been overwhelming that you guys have been so nice, so kind, heaps of awesome messages. I can't get back to everybody, which I normally try to, so eventually I promise I will get back to all of you. It's been a bit of a weird 2 weeks, and it's been good to be able to share it with you and get some of your stories as well and some of your advice, and just not be alone in this situation. One thing that's going to now happen on the channel is we're going to fill in all these tanks with new livestock. Some of them will have to change a little bit of the scape, but it means over the next month or so, you're going to see some finished products on some of the tanks that we've already been working on, or we just need to now tweak and get to work the way that we want them. So if you're new to the channel, there's going to be plenty of new content coming up. We're going to be adding fish to this scape. We're going to be fixing this scape. I've got one other inside. We've got the shrimp inside as well. I'm going to be adding some more CO2 to the fish room. These little guys, we're going to follow their journey and potentially add some more to that tank soon as well. So stick around, hit the subscribe button, and remember, if you get new fish, always acclimate them first. I'm Josh from Acclimate. I'll see you soon.
What a wonderful world.